question number one. Does a winner wear a crown? And how do you spot one?
That's interesting. So I'm like a bit negative on the crown piece. I think, it makes me feel like the old Miss World, and I don't think that's what change management's about. I think change management's in that professional sphere. So I would like to see the winners have something they can put on the desk, something that they can take into work and display it and show, look, we've made a big difference to our organisation. So I'd love to see it being an award that we can stand on a desk. But I think it should look a bit different. I think we should think about how to change things and make it look different. So it doesn't look like an Oscar, it looks something a bit different.
So the letters CA are probably not the best for that, isn't it? Or
Yeah, I'm sure there's something we can come up with. Whether on the day we have something that, makes them stand out in the room, I don't know. I can kind of think it would be great to make them stand out.
oh, but a nice trophy. Okay, so why do you support the Change Awards then?
So I love the idea of a change award, and it's really difficult to kind of pinpoint what is it about an award that's so different from that passing an exam or becoming accredited by a professional institute. There's just something different about an award, and I was trying to think about it the other day. But for me, getting an award is not only recognition for the individual, it's recognition for the organisation and for the team. So it's a much wider recognition. And we know as well in the Change Awards, we do have awards that recognise organisations and recognises teams. So it's far wider than just an individual. But it's also when you win that, you've put your name out there. And even if you don't win it and you get to be a finalist, you can actually say, I've been recognised at that kind of level against my peers, that I've done something extraordinary. And if you win it, you're really standing out, that you've done something that we should be celebrating. And this is a real opportunity to celebrate it. So I think it's just much better than just a straightforward, I've passed this exam. It's really highlighting something that you've done in your professional career that stands out. And there just aren't lots of opportunities to do that. And I think change management has been far behind other professions. I've been involved in change awards that we've gone to ceremonies for project managers, and we just haven't had that in the change arena. So this is great that we've got something for change people to say, look what I've done.
So it's something to do by, to be recognized by the peers, by your peers, but it's something as well to, I suppose, to find yourself that you are in a position where you are recognized amongst your peers, and but also by your own organization, and showcasing it to the organization as a thing that you have done is, I suppose, something that individuals should consider, but also the teams, because obviously this year teams are able to apply too.
Absolutely. You've got individual, you've got team, and you've got organisation. And if I was an organisation and I'd got people in my organisation that were really doing a great job, why wouldn't I want to nominate them, put them forward to show not only does our organisation value change management, but also we value these individuals and we think they're doing a really great job. And I don't know about you, but yes, pay rises and bonuses are great. We obviously want those. But to have something that says my organisation really appreciates me, it just means so much, and it stays in your mind for much longer than that pay award. And it's something that you can actually put on your CV as well and go, I've done this, and my organisation highlighted what I'd done, and it on my CV would look absolutely great.
Yeah, I've seen it as well. Some people have also put that on their LinkedIn profiles, that they are the award-winning change management individuals and professionals. And I think that's fantastic, because it truly does showcase what they had done.
Yeah.
I have another question. So some time ago, I've run a very short a survey on LinkedIn, and I asked 3 questions. And one of the questions was, "Hey, do you think you are going to apply for the Change Award?" And 15% of people said they don't think they are good enough. And I have purposely used the words "good enough" when I was writing that survey. Um, and I think the question I have is, what can you say? What can you tell to those people?
I think it's quite interesting. We all don't think we're good enough for things. I was talking to a lady this morning about something slightly different, but a similar thing, and she was saying, well, I can't
Mm,
apply for that because I don't think I'm good enough. Um, I think we forget what we've done. We so easily do something quite amazing and then forget it, and we're looking for the next thing we need to do. And I think sometimes you've got to stop and you've got to say, what have I done? What have I achieved? And if you start thinking about it, you can actually very quickly write down what you've done. And I found one of the best ways of doing that is to go and sit down with a friend, a colleague, somebody I've worked with, and say, what did I do on that project? And they'll tell you some great things you did, and you suddenly realize you've actually got more skills, more competency, and you've achieved far more than you thought you had. So if you don't think you're good enough, but you've worked on a change project, or you've led a change project, or you've been part of a team who've managed a change, go and have a conversation and talk about what did we do, because I think pretty quickly you'll realize that that has made a difference to your organization. You've contributed significantly, and actually you could go forwards and put forward to the Change Awards. And probably
mm,
what's stopping you is finding the time and really thinking about it. And I did put a LinkedIn post at Christmas about, while you're sitting back at Christmas thinking about what am I going to do in the new year, why don't you think about a Change Award? And then I realized Christmas got just overtook me, and I was busy doing things, busy seeing people I hadn't seen for a while, and I didn't do much for my own personal development. And then suddenly I was in January and I was back into those projects and really trying to get work done, and I just forgot all about my development. So I think we need to take time out. We need to think about it, because I'm pretty sure we've got some great change professionals out there who just think I'm not good enough, but actually they've probably got an amazing story to tell.
mm. And so it's very interesting how we perceive one another from the perspective of somebody else. I mean, oftentimes I was actually talking to one of my colleagues at the big pharma company, and we were chatting about the project that she was on, and I was partly involved in that project as well. And I said, well, she wanted to apply for an award, and she was getting those thoughts together at the very beginning. And I said, well, don't forget about this, don't forget about that, don't forget about this. And she's completely shocked because she has forgotten about those things, and these things were fantastic. So it just talks to you. You have to take time for yourself. You're right, but you also need to seek a little bit of help from others, because they will have a different perspective on what the work that you have delivered. Maybe they will be looking at it from a different angle, but maybe they'll be bringing feedback from other people. So taking that time off, I think, to yourself, for your professional, personal development is um, very much necessary, I think, for each and every one of us.
Absolutely. And
Okay,
I would add to that, I sometimes
please.
think I'm not good enough. I couldn't possibly do that. And then when I hear the other stories, I start to realize, well, I've done a bit of that. I could have done that, and realize
Yeah.
that I missed an opportunity. And I think it'd be really sad that there's people out there that could listen to the Change Awards and think, why didn't I put my name forwards? Actually, put your name forwards. You might just win it, but certainly you'll be putting your name forward. And if you don't get it, you'll know what things you're going to do in the future. So it'll make you think about your development. And just being a finalist makes you think, actually, I am being recognised for what I've done.
Mm. And that is powerful.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, Last question, Jill. In 30 seconds, what is the future of change management?
It's a really interesting one. I'm not sure I have got that precise answer, but I think it's fundamental to delivering projects and programs. It's fundamental to helping people realize they've got the time, they're able to make a difference and change the way they work and implement change so they themselves and their organizations become more effective in the future. And we've got to have people who help them through it. And if we don't help people through it, and so often I see projects that deliver process change, deliver IT change without taking the people on the journey, and those companies, you see them struggle to make the benefits. So I think change management is going to get a fundamental part of not only a role in an organization, but a fundamental part of everybody's job description. It's going to start to be something that you have to be a senior leader in an organization. So that's where I think it will go. Whether it retains the name change management, I'm not sure. I've thought for many years we should be thinking about change professionals, change leaders, and making it more precise about what these people do. But I think it's going to be fundamental. It's going to underpin any organisation that can stay the time, can keep going, and can become profitable. And last, I think any organisation that goes in and doesn't think about managing change, those organisations will struggle. Those organisations were the ones that won't be there in 10 years' time. So I think it
Yes.
will be around.
Yeah, I think very powerful thoughts here, because I've been thinking about it myself, and I resonate on many levels. So level number one is that whether it retains the name change management, I don't know. I don't know if this is the right name these days. I don't know what truly is within the boundaries of what we are doing as change management profession, because I think that we really are, especially here in the UK, and I observe it by looking at people's posts on LinkedIn, and the little thoughts and articles they write. It makes me think that there is a sheer push for evolution for the profession, and we are catching up, or leveling with, rather, the need of the organizations to become, or to sustain on that innovation path, because we feel that we definitely are relevant as the change management professionals. We are relevant to that organizational's benefits and ability for the organizations and business entities to remain afloat or remain on the market.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
so it's a very, very interesting subject, and that's why I ask it for 30 seconds, because I know it's almost impossible to reply in that short time frame.
But I do think we've got to get to a point where we start celebrating these skills, because they are fundamental to any organisation, and showing that you've got those skills, or your team's got those skills, your organisation's thinking about it, is just critical to organisation survival, but also innovating and becoming more profitable.
And I do also wonder, like a C-suite level individuals, board level individuals, people who have been really, I suppose, fundamentally successsul within the field that they do. I do wonder whether these people, we should be fast tracking almost, these jobs actually to go through the change management phase, as in you have to learn about the aspects of change management or organizational change in order to be more understanding as a leader, in order to be more aligned to what are the needs of the organization. And when I say organization, I mean people that actually are within the business.
Absolutely. And I think so many organisations think we're implementing a new computer system, so we've got to focus on the technology. We're implementing new processes. We've got to think about what those processes are. But so few organizations spend their time thinking about, let's go back to the people. What are the people doing and what do we need them to do differently? And if we can get that right, the systems will start working for us, the processes will start working for us. But if we don't get the people side of it, we won't actually change. And so many organizations that you see driving more and more change, when you fundamentally look at them, you realize they're not changing because the people are confused. The people don't know what to do differently and how to do things differently. And I think if we can change that and we can get it so people know what they need to do and make that change, those organizations will do far better. And to get there, we need people who understand at a senior level how to do that. And that's where your skills of a change professional come in. Let's celebrate that. Let's recognize it. Because I think there's a lot of organizations out there with some great stories. And there's other organizations who could learn from those organizations.
Yes, how many years we can turn the same message, right?
Absolutely.
How many years? It's been, because that message of start with people, forget about technology for a second, is a message that I've heard at least 8 years
Yeah.
in the past.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that even though we talk about it all the time and we're getting louder and louder in our collective voice, the mistakes are still being made.
Yeah.
But can't fix the world. Well, Jill,
I also find if you go to some of these organizations that have done a really great job, what they've done isn't huge, it's just simple. They've done a few simple things really well. Maybe if we learn what those simple things are from the professionals we see at the awards, maybe we can make a difference in our organizations as well. And maybe the people watching it will also be people for next year. But I think there's just so many great stories.
Yes, there are. I'm sure there are. We need to just hear them all. Jill, thank you so much. I really appreciate the time together, and thank you for chatting to me about those 4 interesting subjects.